There's a strange pull, isn't there? A magnetic tug that draws your eyes back to your own reflection. It happens when you pass a shop window, catch a glimpse in a polished car door, or even in the dark screen of a turned-off TV. It feels almost primal, a whisper from somewhere deep within. But science can't explain this insistent call, this involuntary pause. What if it's not just you? What if this is a cosmic signal, a subtle invitation to remember something you've long forgotten about the power held within your own image? These aren't random moments. They are echoes of an ancient spiritual technology, a way of interacting with your very essence that has been deliberately obscured. This deep-seated fascination with reflections is more than just vanity. It's an ancestral memory, a primal recognition of a profound energetic connection. For millennia, certain cultures understood this powerful link between the self and its mirrored image, not as a mere surface phenomenon, but as a gateway to the soul itself. These ancient peoples recognized that the reflective surface was not simply showing you what you looked like, but was interacting with your very being on a deeper, energetic level. It was a tool, a key, and sometimes a cage. And real quick, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos. Now let's keep going. For ages, polished obsidian was more than just a beautiful stone. It was a conduit, a portal shrouded in reverence and fear. Whispers of its use in sacred, often terrifying, ceremonies echo through fragmented historical accounts, texts deemed heretical, knowledge the mainstream has buried deep. These were not simple rituals for scrying or seeing the future in a casual sense. They were intricate, deliberate acts designed to harness a specific kind of power. The polished, dark surface of obsidian wasn't merely reflecting light, it was designed to absorb something far more precious, something that emanated from the very core of a living being. Imagine a shaman, cloaked in shadow, holding a disc of obsidian so polished it gleamed with an unnatural depth. The air would grow thick with unspoken intent. The goal was rarely mere divination, it was extraction. The life force, the very spark of consciousness, was coaxed, sometimes violently, from its vessel. This siphoning was a core practice, a way to feed something unseen, something that craved the essence of our spiritual energy. It was a sophisticated form of energetic vampirism, rooted in forgotten spiritual science. What appears as a simple reflective surface in nature, like a still pool or a dark volcanic glass, holds a resonance that alerted our ancestors to its true purpose. They understood that this reflectivity was not passive. It actively engaged with the subtle energies of the universe, and especially with the energy of the human soul. This understanding led to its weaponization, turning a natural phenomenon into a tool of control. Not all mirrors are created equal. While a clear, bright mirror might reflect your immediate appearance without much energetic consequence, certain types of reflective surfaces, particularly those crafted with darker materials or imbued with specific intentions, act as potent soul traps. These aren't just glass and silver, they are energetic anchors designed to capture the more ethereal aspects of your being. The ancient obsidian mirrors are a prime example, but this principle extends to other dark, highly polished materials that possess a unique ability to absorb and retain energy rather than just reflecting light. Think of it like a cosmic net. When certain conditions are met, and when an individual inadvertently or intentionally engages with these specialized reflective surfaces in specific ways, a sliver of their soul, their energetic signature, can become ensnared. It's a subtle process, often undetectable to the untrained eye, but profoundly impactful. This captured essence doesn't simply vanish. It's held, sometimes for centuries, contributing to a collective pool of trapped spiritual energy. There's a chilling concept at play here, the idea that your reflection isn't just a passive image, but a potential tether. When you gaze into these energetically charged mirrors, you're not just looking at yourself, you're interacting with a mechanism designed to lock onto your core essence. This is where the true danger lies, turning a mundane act into a profound energetic transaction. The history is littered with rituals that sought to deliberately drain this vital essence. These weren't barbaric acts for shock value, they were meticulously designed energetic operations. The goal was to create a conduit, a pipeline from the source of human spiritual power to the entity or force that orchestrated these practices. Imagine the immense energy required to sustain ancient priesthoods or to power certain esoteric technologies. Where did it all come from? It came from us, from our very souls, siphoned over generations through these carefully constructed mirror rituals. These practices involved more than just staring. They incorporated specific incantations, symbolic gestures, and often offerings. The intent was to create a resonating frequency that would unlock the soul's energetic signature and create a bridge. This bridge allowed the stored or captured essences to be drawn off, channeled, and utilized by unseen forces. It was a sophisticated form of energetic parasitism, far more ancient and pervasive than is commonly understood. The knowledge of how to do this was guarded, passed down through cryptic lineages. They understood that human spiritual energy was the ultimate currency, and reflective surfaces were the most efficient ATMs. The effectiveness of these rituals depended on the mirror's quality, the practitioner's intent, and crucially, the unawareness of the victim. This unawareness is what allowed the practice to persist, often hidden in plain sight within cultural or religious traditions. The act of scrying, gazing into a reflective surface to gain insight, is often presented as a harmless form of divination. However, its roots are far more sinister. The deeper purpose behind ancient scrying practices extended far beyond mere future-telling. It was a sophisticated protocol for binding, for establishing an energetic tether that allowed for ongoing interaction and, more importantly, control. The mirror wasn't just a window, it was a lock. By gazing into these specially prepared reflective surfaces, individuals would involuntarily activate a binding protocol. This protocol established an energetic connection, an invisible thread that linked the gazer's soul essence to the mirror itself, and by extension, to whatever intelligence or entity was monitoring or controlling the mirror. This wasn't a one-time event, it was the initiation of a continuous energetic exchange, a subtle but persistent drain. Think of it as a spiritual handshake that you didn't realize you were agreeing to. Once that connection was established, a portion of your identity, your unique energetic signature, became imprinted on the reflective surface. This imprint allowed for a constant, albeit subtle, influence shaping your thoughts, your desires, and your very path without your conscious awareness. It was a silent, invisible form of energetic hijacking. This binding didn't just create a passive connection, it actively worked to invert the natural flow of spiritual energy. Instead of our essence flowing outwards into creation, it was drawn inwards, back towards the mirror, and then siphoned off. This inverted gaze is crucial. It means that when you looked into the mirror, you weren't seeing your authentic self in a true reflection, but rather a distorted image, an echo filtered through the lens of this energetic manipulation. This inversion is key to understanding how these spiritual traps operate. They exploit the natural human tendency to identify with our physical form and our conscious self. By subtly shifting the energetic focus, the mirror compels us to gaze inwards, not in a healthy way of self-discovery, but in a way that feeds the trap. It creates a feedback loop where the more you look, the tighter the bond becomes, and the more your vital essence is drained. The true horror is that this inverted gaze can feel natural, even desirable. It can manifest as an obsessive need to check one's appearance, a longing for external validation, or a paralyzing self-consciousness. These are all signs that the binding protocol is active, that your natural energetic flow has been disrupted, and that you are caught in a cycle of looking outward for validation when the true source of power lies within. The result of these ancient binding protocols and inverted gazes is a profound accumulation of captured essences. These aren't just fleeting moments of energy, they are fragments of souls, chunks of consciousness stored and preserved within these reflective artifacts and energy constructs. Imagine ancient battlefields or places of intense suffering, their psychic residue amplified and amplified by the mirrors that witnessed them. These echoes are not just passive memories, they are active energetic signatures that can influence the present. These captured essences can also be used to amplify the power of the entities or forces that control these mirrors. It's like building an army of ghosts, each one contributing a sliver of their former vitality to a greater malevolent cause. When you engage with a tainted mirror or a place saturated with this captured energy, you're not just interacting with a physical object, you're stepping into a field of these lingering, potent essences. It's a psychic echo chamber that can overwhelm your own energetic field. The implications are staggering. These aren't just artifacts from the past, they are energetic reservoirs that continue to exert influence. The echoes of captured essences can literally haunt the energetic landscape, subtly affecting those who are sensitive enough to perceive them. They can create feelings of dread, confusion, or even a sense of being watched, all stemming from these ancient, unresolved energetic transactions. The very fabric of reality, as we understand it, is underpinned by geometric principles. These aren't just abstract mathematical concepts, they are the blueprints of creation and, by extension, the blueprints of entrapment. For those who wielded the power of energetic manipulation, these sacred geometries, particularly those associated with light and reflection, became the architecture of prisons for the soul. The hexagon, a recurring symbol in many occult traditions, features prominently. When light interacts with these specific geometric forms, especially reflected light, it can create self-sustaining energy loops. These loops act like energetic labyrinths, designed to trap consciousness by forcing it to traverse the same patterns repeatedly. Think of a complex mirror maze, but instead of physical barriers, you encounter energetic ones. The light, once it enters this geometric prison, can be trapped, becoming a battery of sorts, fueling the system that created it. These geometric prisons are not always obvious. They can be embedded within the architecture of sacred sites, woven into the symbolism of religious iconography, or even encoded within seemingly innocuous, everyday objects. The danger is their ubiquity and their subtlety. The intention behind their creation was to make them invisible, to lull the observer into a false sense of security, while their energetic freedom is systematically eroded. The frequencies of sound and resonance are far more than auditory experiences. They are fundamental forces that shape our reality, and like light, they can be manipulated. The entities behind the soul-trapping mechanisms understood that specific sonic vibrations, when introduced into an environment or directed at an individual, could exploit the energetic vulnerabilities created by reflective surfaces and geometric prisons. This unseen frequency weapon is a crucial component of the energetic binding protocol. Imagine a specific note or a series of resonant tones designed to vibrate at the same frequency as your soul's energetic signature. When this sound bombards you, especially when you are exposed to reflective surfaces that amplify or channel the vibration, it can create sympathetic resonance. This resonance loosens your energetic cohesion, making it easier for your essence to be siphoned off or to become trapped within the geometric prisons. It's a way of shaking you loose, energetically speaking. This manipulation of sound and resonance wasn't accidental. It was a deliberate application of sonic warfare against consciousness. By broadcasting specific frequencies, often at subliminal levels, these forces could create states of confusion, fear, or lethargy, making individuals more susceptible to the more overt mechanisms of soul capture. It's the unseen hum that keeps you disoriented, making it harder to find your way out of the trap. The practice of soul capture is not a modern invention. Its roots run deep into the soil of ancient pagan traditions, where the connection between the human spirit and the natural world was understood with profound clarity. Certain rituals, often misinterpreted or deliberately obscured by later religious doctrines, involved the intentional transfer or containment of life force. These were not always malevolent initially, but were perverted over time by darker forces, seeking to exploit this sacred knowledge for their own ends. In some ancient cultures, reflective surfaces were used in rituals to honor ancestors or to commune with deities. However, the line between honoring and siphoning became blurred. Knowledge of how to draw energy was readily available, and it was only a matter of intent and specific application to turn a sacred practice into a tool of energetic vampirism. The vibrant life force of the community was, in essence, being harvested, often under the guise of sacred duty. The remnants of these pagan practices, twisted and recontextualized, can still be found today. Symbols, gestures, and even certain chants are echoes of these ancient soul-capturing rituals. Recognizing these pagan roots is vital because it reveals that this is not a sudden phenomenon, but a centuries-old practice that has evolved, becoming more insidious and deeply woven into the fabric of our collective consciousness. The concept of blood offerings in ancient rituals is often misunderstood. It wasn't merely about appeasing bloodthirsty deities. Blood, in its purest form, is a potent carrier of life force. It is the physical manifestation of our vital energy, our very essence. Therefore, offering blood was a direct offering of one's most essential spiritual power, a concentrated form of life force that could be utilized for various purposes, including fueling energetic traps and binding rituals. When blood came into contact with specially prepared reflective surfaces, its energetic properties were amplified. The mirror, acting as a transducer, could capture this potent life force and embed it within the reflective matrix. This blood-infused energy then served as a powerful beacon, attracting and retaining other forms of spiritual essence, or it could be used directly to power the mechanisms of soul capture, making the traps even more potent and difficult to escape. The deliberate shedding of blood in conjunction with mirrors created an energetic synergy. It was a ritualistic act designed to create a powerful, lasting energetic imprint. This imprint not only empowered the mirror itself, but also served to bind the individual who made the offering more deeply to the entropic forces that controlled these mirrors, ensuring their continued participation in the cycle of energetic vampirism. The influence of these ancient mirroring rituals doesn't just reside in dusty tomes or forgotten temples. It has seeped into our modern lives, subtly shaping our perceptions and behaviors. Think about the ubiquitous nature of mirrors today, in our homes, in our cars, in our phones, on every street corner. This constant exposure is not accidental. It's a modern manifestation of an ancient energetic technology designed to keep us perpetually engaged with our reflections and thus perpetually vulnerable. Consider the obsessive culture of selfies and the constant need for external validation through social media. This isn't solely a product of modern vanity. It's an echo of the ancient binding protocols amplified by technology. We are, in essence, caught in a global, technologically advanced mirror trap, constantly seeking affirmation from our reflections, inadvertently feeding the very mechanisms that seek to drain our spiritual energy. The digital screen has become the modern obsidian, reflecting and siphoning. The energy industry itself, with its focus on capturing and channeling power, mirrors the ancient practices of spiritual essence siphoning. While the physical mechanisms are different, the underlying principle of extraction and control remains eerily similar. We are surrounded by surfaces designed to reflect, to capture, and to influence, creating a pervasive energetic environment that mirrors the ancient traps in ways we are only beginning to understand. Recognizing the vampiric cord that connects us to these energetic traps is the first crucial step toward liberation. This cord isn't a physical string, it's an energetic tether, a subtle pathway through which your vital essence can be siphoned. It is formed through prolonged exposure to mirrors, especially those imbued with intentionality or those present in energetically charged locations, and amplified by our own unconscious engagement with our reflections. This cord can manifest in subtle ways: a persistent feeling of fatigue, unexplained anxieties, a lack of creative drive, or a sense that something is off energetically. It feels like an invisible drain, a constant subtle depletion of your spirit. For many, this feeling is so pervasive they've come to accept it as normal, a symptom of modern life. But it is the telltale sign of an energetic connection that needs to be severed. The key is to become aware of your own energetic signature and how it interacts with reflective surfaces. When you catch yourself staring, when you feel that familiar pull, pause, sense the energetic exchange. Is it reciprocal, a balanced interaction, or is it a one-way street, with your energy flowing outwards without return? This conscious awareness is the beginning of disentangling yourself from the vampiric cord. Breaking the cycle of reflection requires a conscious and deliberate shift in your energetic relationship with mirrors and your own image. It's not about avoiding your reflection entirely, as that can be counterproductive, but about reclaiming your power within that interaction. This involves understanding that your true self is not contained within the mirrored image, but is the vibrant, dynamic consciousness that animates the reflection. The process involves energetic severing rituals, sometimes visualized. Imagine cutting the energetic cord with intention, visualizing your essence flowing back to its source. It also involves reclaiming the energy that has been siphoned. This can be done through meditation focused on drawing your energy back into your core, through grounding techniques, and through the conscious affirmation of your spiritual sovereignty. Ultimately, breaking the cycle is about reframing your relationship with your reflection. Instead of seeing it as a source of validation or a potential trap, begin to see it as a tool for self-awareness, a surface that can be used for conscious energetic mapping, not for energetic loss. It's about transforming the mirror from an anchor of entrapment into a launchpad for your true self. The final step in this journey is the unveiling of the self. It's the profound moment when the illusion of being defined by external reflections or by the echoes of captured essences begins to dissolve entirely. This is where you realize that the true power has always resided within you, independent of any external object or entity. The mirror, once a symbol of your potential entrapment, becomes a tool for recognizing the boundless nature of your own spirit. This unveiling is not about seeing a new image of yourself, but about experiencing the unadulterated essence of who you are, free from the energetic cords and the imprints of others. It's a state of profound self-recognition, where your soul's light shines outward, unimpeded by the veils of manipulation. You begin to understand that your reflection is merely a fleeting aspect of your multidimensional existence, not its totality. As you reclaim your reflective power and break free from ancient energetic bindings, you step into a new reality. A reality where your gaze is no longer a point of vulnerability, but a beacon of authenticity. The journey through the mirrored world has led you not to a deeper prison, but to the ultimate freedom found in the unadorned, radiant truth of your own being. Make sure to subscribe for more videos and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. We'll see you in the next one.